In what's set to be a test for the Prime Minister in relation to the Port of Darwin and its Chinese control. A US private equity firm with strong ties to the Trump administration is poised to make an offer. New York-based Cerberus Capital Management reportedly prepping a formal bid to buy out the lease from the Landbridge Group, billionaire owner there Yi Chung, an offer slightly above the $506 million that Landbridge paid 10 years ago from Malcolm Turnbull's government for the 99-year lease over the facility. Here to discuss this and more, Strategic Analysis Australia Director Peter Jennings. Well, this will be a real test for Albanese here, Peter, because we got some mixed messages from the PM during the election campaign. He wasn't on this issue at all. The moment he got wind the coalition were going to move on it, that he then tried, well, we know he hit the phone, he got on the ABC, got onto radio and sort of tried to gazump their announcement. Already we've got the Chinese ambassador talking about the ethics of booting out a Chinese company. How's this going to play out, do you think?
Well, I just love that we're being lectured by the Chinese ambassador on ethics, Peter. I think that's one for the ages. My view is that Anthony Albanese's got a golden opportunity here because for the first time there is a company with a serious interest in wanting to take over the port facility. This is the Cerberus Group. In December last year, it was announced that they were actually teaming with an Australian company to build a port facility on an island called Garden Island, not the one in Sydney, but off the coast of Western Australia near Derby. They're going to put $300 million into building a new port facility. So Cerberus, I think, has an interest in Northern Australian infrastructure with a mind towards defence and security. If they're interested, I think the Prime Minister should say hallelujah. And, you know, this is a great opportunity to reverse a terrible mistake, for him to claim a political victory, I guess he will, Peter, and to actually turn the port to the uses that it needs to address, which is more Australian Army vessels that will have to be based there in coming years, plus a greater interest from our allies. So this is a golden opportunity, and I hope that our government is prepared to take it.
Do you think he's prepared to stand up to Beijing, though?
That's the key question. I mean, this is a case where I think Albanese has got to show that he is prepared to push back. He keeps saying that he will do it where it's necessary. And really, the only purpose that Landbridge's lease up in the port is serving right now is preventing the port from being developed for Australian Army use and for the use of our allies. You know, we're not seeing the investment that was promised into developing the economy around this port. You know, the Prime Minister went on record. He chose to do that during the election campaign. He's made a promise. I think he's got to live up to that for his own political reputation and also for Australia's national security.
Yeah, if I was cynical, I'd say the Chinese are almost land banking it now for 99 years, keeping anybody else out, including the Americans, making it difficult for Australia and the US under AUKUS to develop that space. So let's hope this can change. I've got something to play from Donald Trump in a moment. This is about Russia, Ukraine, the war, of course, but he seems to have cooled on his sort of bromance with the Russian leader. Have a listen.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Now, it's got a touch of megaphone diplomacy to me, but I think that's pretty much how President Trump plays things. What's the strategy here, do you think?
Well, this is what you might call the education of young Donald, Peter. I think he's finally realising that his interests and Vladimir Putin's interests don't work together. And that's because Putin is refusing to come to the table as Trump wants him to negotiate. And even when Trump is putting all these inducements towards Putin, Putin continues to double down on its military strategy. So it's come late. I'm surprised that Trump is surprised, if I can put it that way, that he's discovering that Putin is a dangerous player in international affairs. But if this makes the president decide that he's better off supporting Ukraine a bit more and being more cautious about dealing with Putin, then that's a good outcome. And with everything he does, Peter, it's going to be played out loud and public for all of us to admire as he goes through it.
Talk to me about the comments made by Palestinian representatives in Australia. They've lauded the Prime Minister for comments he's made decrying Israel's actions in Gaza. The Palestinians say this is a significant advancement in Australia's position on Palestine. Meanwhile, our Jewish leaders in Australia have expressed a fair amount of alarm. I mean, I've got a real issue when the Prime Minister, when he speaks about hostages, indeed when he talks about even if he wants to go after Hamas, he almost feels like he's got to give a whack to Israel on the way through. Surely we can avoid this and be sound in how we express our anger and our lack of support in any way, shape or form for what is a listed terror organisation in Hamas.
Yeah. So I don't think the PM's heart is ever going to be in supporting Israel, to be honest, Peter. And did you notice how it disappeared out of the government's mouth during the course of the election campaign? And of course, now it's back with the same strategy to sort of talk up a fake Palestinian state. The only effect it's having on Israel is that they've stopped listening to us and they've stopped listening to a number of their other key supporters in the democracies. Israel is very clearly now on a military course to make sure that Hamas is never going to be able to threaten it again from Gaza. And they appear to be doing that by creating a long buffer zone between Gaza and Egypt to start. Yes, this is leading to some terrible stories about casualties, which are just awful. But as we all know, the war could stop tomorrow if Hamas was prepared to step down. And our government is adding nothing to that, Peter. It is simply virtue signalling. It's looking after a left constituency here in Australia, and no one in Israel, in the government or outside of the government, I think is listening to lectures from Anthony Albanese, which is simply not helpful. Whereas what we should have been doing was standing up for an ally, maybe behind closed doors, counselling that we needed to see a quicker resolution to end a war in Gaza. But our government's not doing that. It's for virtue signalling. That's where they're at on this issue.